I enjoy escape rooms. They're fun and interesting, and there's a lot of cool things you can do with them. I've been to three of them and escaped one of them, and I got to see my friend Arn eaten by a zombie in two of them. The last time we all watched him flip out as we all cheered after he got eaten. When the first one came around, I reviewed it and liked it, thought it was fun, but I didn't get a chance to see the second one until now. So let's talk about Escape Room 2 Tournament of Champions. I've been wanting to watch this movie ever since I checked out the original a few years ago, but unfortunately, it only showed up on streaming sites that I didn't want to pay for. I liked the first one well enough. I thought the escape rooms were really cool and imaginative. The movie was also a massive success, making $150 million money on a $9 million money budget. With those numbers, the question wasn't, will they make a sequel? It became, when are they making a sequel? Turns out, the answer was 2 years. The movie picks up a bit after the events of the first movie. Zoe and Ben are doing what they can to expose the shadowy organization behind the murderous escape rooms from the original. It also dives into how terrible life is for them after they survive the events of the first movie. Before they get lured into the death trap, the movie shows how messed up the experience made them. Anytime they go into a building, they wondered if they just walked into another trap. They're constantly looking over their shoulders, knowing the company will be coming for them. It gives the movie a bit more depth, but doesn't spend a lot of time on their shared PTSD, which is kind of a shame. While Ben wants to stay away, Zoe cannot live that way and is determined to expose the baddies. You really can't blame her either. Sure, she survived the first movie, but she hasn't lived since then. Ben, on the other hand, despite his misgivings, is her ride or die, and he agrees to join. I have to say, I really like the relationship between Zoe and Ben. They have a couple of flirty moments, but for the most part, they're just good friends. The two care about each other, and the movie doesn't get bogged down with filler, will they or won't they. They shared so much trauma, and while Ben takes some convincing, he follows her lead because he knows she's right. It's a fun friendship, and the two have good chemistry. I'd follow their story through more movies if they keep making them. Another thing, I like the different characters the movie brought in, and how the company is adapting. If you remember, Ben was the survivor in the group because everyone thought Zoe was dead. Ben's prize for winning was an attempted strangulation until he was saved by Zoe at the last minute. Since then, the company has been letting someone survive the game in order to create a tournament of champions. It's a cool idea, but leads to my biggest problem with this movie. The shadowy organization is like reality warping powers. There's no other way to describe how they're able to get all these people together. If you think about it for more than 1 second, about 1 billion things need to go right for it to happen. Our band of heroes narrowly avoided the plane trap because Zoe got cold feet right before boarding. Instead, they drive to New York after finding out where the secret headquarters are. When they get there, a man steals her necklace, forcing a chase into the subway. Not only does he escape them right before the door closes, sealing them both in, they happen to be in a subway car, alone, with the sole survivors of previous games and no one else. I can suspend disbelief a lot, especially when it comes to horror, but the amount of control, power, and luck to get all those people in the same place at the same time at the exact moment they're needed to be there without any other civilians around is just too much for me. Outside of that, it's a fun movie. The traps are always the highlight, and I love the creativity in them. The first one they get stuck in is my favorite. The group of heroes are trapped in the electrified subway car, and it just looks really cool. Shots of the bolts of electricity are such a cool visual and hammers home just how precarious these games are going to be. Part of my favorite moments of these movies are when they escape and you get the calm before the next one. I love watching them walk into their new death trap and slowly piecing together how the room is trying to kill them. It's always imaginative and fun in the most grotesque type of way. While most of these characters are there to serve as a body count, I liked the cast quite a bit. One of the characters, who we first meet passed out on the subway train, is a priest. For his game, he was going up against a group of priests simply because the baddies thought it would be fun to test a bunch of men of the cloth. He survived the game and had to watch his fellow priests all die horribly. From the moment you learn his story, you see how much survivor's guilt this guy has. He can't wrap his head around that he survived while everyone else died, and it causes him to make some really dumb decisions. For him, there must be a reason he's alive, while the others aren't. While he does some dumb things, they're not your normal horror movie bad decisions. He's broken, and you can see how messed up he is and understand why he's doing it. He's trying to find meaning when it's not there. His mental state also leads to my favorite line in the movie. They're in the bank and the way out is closing. He doesn't believe they have time to figure it out, so he blindly walks across the booby-trapped floor. It's incredibly tense, and when he's walking, he tells his pleading friends that finding the path is why he's there. It's the reason he survived. He was chosen for this, and that's why he survived. Naturally, once he says that, he steps on a wrong tile and is nearly sliced up by a laser. Instead of dying, he's knocked unconscious after hitting his head. Once they get him off the floor, Ben lifts him on his shoulders and yells, "I've got the chosen one." I laughed out loud at the line. The setup and the delivery were very well done, and it's said with the perfect amount of exasperation and mockery. The remaining characters don't take up too much time, but they're all unique and fun in their own ways, and two of them just suffer a horrible, horrible death. I know outside of Ben and Zoe, everyone is there to die, but they all had something different that makes the movie work. Now, I can't leave without talking about the ending, because depending on where you watched it, you saw something different. If you saw it in theaters, you were treated to the return of Amanda from the first escape room. She had survived her fall and was forced to become the new game master. It's not a bad twist, and it was cool because I liked the character. The movie theater version ends with Zoe and Ben on the plane trap set up at the end of the first movie, while the one I watched set up a new baddie that finally has the gloves coming off. As far as the franchise goes, setting up a new antagonist makes more sense because they want to make more. As far as the storyline itself, I don't know. I think I like having Amanda back. To sum it up, it's an enjoyable movie. If you can get past how this evil corporation has the godlike powers to move all the chess pieces anywhere they want to be, exactly when they want them to be there, logic be damned. Still, the characters are fun, the rooms are cool, some of the kills are brutal, and like I said, I will go see every single one of these movies as long as they keep making them. 7.5 Dr. Chainsaws.